Ladies and gentlemen, Palantir stock PLTR looking really healthy in today's trading session. Likely could possibly hit a breakout zone here in the near future, especially with these catalysts that we're going to be talking about and the amount of momentum that we have in terms of trading volume that's coming behind Palantir stock. Now, Palantir has been a very trendy AI stock, especially here within the last few months. And in the next month here, we have earnings, which is really important because there's a lot of speculation about how earnings is going to go for Palantir. We're going to be talking about some of the things that have happened recently, the momentum that we do have, and what's going to happen if earnings do get broken. Now, of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and if you're a returning viewer, I can't thank you enough for supporting a smaller content creator. So, of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Take everything I say with a grain of salt and do your own research. We're just collecting all the data, reporting it to you guys. Now, Palantir, great up over 1661 that you see right here, up about 5%. Here's that recent resistance that we talked about, especially right here at 1681. Now, trading volume at 65 million today. Like I said, great momentum coming into Palantir stock, market cap sitting at about 35 billion. Now, we talked about that $20 level of resistance. Here it is, 20 bucks. When this happened, that $20 resistance was at the last quarter earnings right here. This is around August 7th. And basically when Palantir was in line with those earnings is when Palantir goes from about 20 bucks, has about a $25 correction, 25% correction, excuse me, to about the 15s right here where we've seen consolidation. Recently, we've had a lot of bullish catalysts for Palantir, and especially we have some media articles that are pointing in the bullish side, talking about Palantir and in terms of the trendiness of the stock, focusing on the actual business decisions and the contractual footprint that they've been making. What we've been talking about, of course, is with the Department of Defense contract. We had that about a week ago. You have Palantir now set to basically secure the top contract for the United Kingdom National Health Service in terms of tapping into the healthcare industry, and which this one is worth about 579 million, which is great because basically if this contract is awarded to Palantir, this is another 83 million a year coming in terms of its revenue metrics that have been increasing. So talking about that, and regardless of the concerns that we've seen, Palantir is still the top bidder and likely going to set to secure to win this top contract and overhaul basically the UK's National Health Service. Now, talking about that and specifically what I think we've seen with Palantir, and especially with this bullish catalyst here, is you have AI stocks, Palantir, really separating and becoming a leader within that industry and trying to get out of this AI bubble that a lot of analysts are criticizing. And with Palantir, one thing that we do have to remember that it is profitable, and especially with this momentum monster, I would agree right now that Palantir does have a lot of momentum behind it, especially with its track record that's already up over 159% year to date. But why I think we possibly could have had a lot of bullishness, and even what we're seeing with analysts pushing this stock to these higher highs, is that everybody is raising, number one, their earnings per share. We've seen revisions 5 times already in the last 90 days in the bullish perspective. If we get my big head out of the way, you can see right here, 5 times we've seen in the bullish perspectives for earnings per share we're expecting at 6 cents. So we talk about this in the videos. Palantir is being set to these higher standards. If Palantir is able to hit and achieve and even beat those standards and those curricula that these analysts have put Palantir, we're going to be talking about this in a second, how they keep raising them, then Palantir could possibly get past these 17s here and push past these 20s with the amount of trading volume and momentum that it does have behind it. Now, Palantir, for example, right here, what we're seeing is William Blair, these big analysts that have continued to push their earnings predictions higher in even their price targets. Now, William Blair issues estimates right here of fiscal year 2024 earnings at 8 cents when it was 7 cents. And another example right here specifically are these price targets, especially from people that are criticizing Palantir, thinking it's going to come down on price targets on the actual low end, the bearish potential. Even those price targets are being raised. So you have the low interval of the price target compared to the high interval of the price target, the whole bar is being raised in an increment in the bullish perspective. And from example right here, especially with Wolf Research, they even had a price target of only $6 and they boosted to $7.50 and gave the stock an underperform rating, and even changing that rating from a D to a C minus. So like I said, even in the biggest bearish potential for some of these analysts, they're still raising it from the bottom end. From the top end, you see here, you can see $25 in terms of price targets, and you also have different types of analysts like Raymond James right here boosting it from 18 to 22, giving the stock an outperform rating, especially with the recent performance. So with Palantir, like I said, the whole bar is continuing to be set. If we take a quick look at those options, especially what we do have coming in the near future for next week expirations, you have a lot of calls and especially a lot of volatility around that $17 to $18 strike price. Now, this is a very psychological in a fundamental zone in terms of resistance. And I think especially that $20 is even more of a psychological point of resistance just because it's that next incremental step. $20, $30, $40, examples like that. So Palantir, if we take it back a notch and look into the momentum that we do have, we have bullish contractual information that they are setting these contracts and getting approved of these contracts, which are great for revenue and especially in terms of the diversification of their clientele. It's not just all government. Remember, Palantir has about a little bit of a majority, over 50% of government contracts. The rest is commercial based. So the fact that you're bringing more commercial contracts, which is with the United Kingdom contract, and also in addition, you also have Palantir that announced its collaboration with PwC. Also diversifying, one of the biggest professional services firms out there, and bringing its AI, its Palantir Foundry software to all of these different platforms and to all of these different companies that are in different industrial sectors. So the fact that Palantir is basically tapping in or getting its foot wet and getting some of that market share in terms of AI data analytics in all these different sectors is really bullish, and especially not being focused on just a few amount of customers is important, because if those customers were to leave, Palantir still has all these different sectors that it is involved in. So basically getting kind of saturated across these different sectors is important for Palantir, especially as it matures as a company. And especially with those bullishness that we do have coming in, people are really starting to hype up the stock, especially for November 7th here, November 6th, where we're going to have those earnings call. It's going to be happening here in about a month. So Palantir is definitely staying on everybody's radar, and things are looking well for the company. It'll be exciting to see what happens with it, and especially one thing in terms of the bearish perspectives, because we do need to analyze that. Things do not always go up. Things can come down too. It's important to understand that. But with Palantir, can it live up to its valuation? That's one of the biggest criticisms, is it has a very bad grade in terms of its valuation, and its forward price to earnings ratio is very high. It is at a high price and at a high premium right now, and compared to some of the other stocks, and especially the medium valuations within the sector. That'll be a big question, and I think earnings is going to answer that question, and especially with the Wall Street analysts that keep pushing these predictions higher and higher. If Palantir can beat those earnings, I think we could see a lot of bullishness coming into it. If it misses it or is in line, I think we could see a correction, and possibly is there too much hype behind Palantir. So a lot to think about. Of course, we'll be keeping you guys updated. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go into this weekend having a great weekend. Peace out, and I'll catch you guys later.